And she was like, I don't have a wallet. Like, and I was like, who comes to dinner with no wallet? This is not a date.
Reasons why I'll never be the person that volunteers my card down and has everyone Venmo me for dinner.
I think when you go to group dinners, you're kind of paying a friendship tax.
Here's what to do when someone insists on splitting the bill evenly.
All right, you guys, we have a fun and possibly controversial video today. We are talking about group dinners and the etiquette for splitting the tab. I think we've all been there before. We go to a big group dinner, possibly for a birthday or someone celebrating something, and then it comes time to split the tab and everyone is looking at each other like, who's gonna put their card down? How are we splitting it? Are we splitting it down the middle, or is everyone paying for what they ordered? We are about to watch some clips and see the vast array of responses to this question. Starting it off with this clip.
Separated. I got the birthday girl and my wife.
Separate checks. So are you the only man at this table? Why are we doing separate checks? It's all women here.
No, but I'm not responsible for paying everybody. I got the birthday girl.
You invited everybody. You invited all of us.
I didn't invite you, but I didn't sign up for that. Okay, there's nobody else doing
But you participate. I know we ain't got shit.
I don't care how y'all do it.
I didn't order. Well, I'm sorry. Dave, but you always pay, like, you're the only man at the table. You're not going to pay the check, seriously.
But I'm not obligated. I got my whole family.
It's $700 for this whole table, and it's my birthday.
This is your podcast, Coco. This is your
Only
best
$700.
It's only Shan.
You being cheap.
Are you kidding me right
You're
now?
honestly being cheap right now.
Okay, first.
No, if that was the case, I'd have just took you out.
Are you
for your
being
birthday.
Dre, are you gonna let him sit here with a whole table full of women?
I really feel like it's not his responsibility, and when y'all get a husband,
I'm married.
I'm sorry. I do have a husband, though. Hold on, wait a minute.
Thank y'all.
No, so Donnie, you're good because it's your birthday, but the
Y'all
rest of y'all, we gotta chip in. You need to leave.
No, I'm not paying for anything. I'm not paying for anything.
No.
I'm not paying for anything.
I'm going to tell you tomorrow.
No, he's the man at the table. He needs to pay.
Can you please separate the checkbook?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's ghetto. Like, you don't come to no establishment like that talking about splitting checks.
So these women are saying that man invited them to this birthday dinner for their friend, and so he should pay. And some people do think whoever invites the other people out should pay. But I think that's more of an etiquette for a date. I don't think that applies to group dinners. They're also saying that he's the only man at the table and he participated, but they also participated in that activity as well. So why shouldn't they have to pay their fair share? All of them are hollering, I have a husband, but wanting your friend's husband to pay. I'm confused. Why are they all mad at him? I love the wife's response. Now I know why he married her.
I don't like splitting the bill evenly when I know exactly what everyone got. Bill comes and they're like, oh, how do you guys want to split it? They're like, oh, evenly. I'm like, absolutely not, Sally. Sally, you had 7 martinis down there at the end of the table. We are not splitting this evenly. I had a Diet Coke and my meal. Appetizers and all that stuff, I get it. I don't like when people order the entire menu and expect to split it evenly. John over there bought 3 slices of cheesecake for himself. He expects me to split the bill based off his diabetes. It's getting to the point of competition now, like who can ring up the bill the highest so they feel like they got the best deal. At the end of the day, splitting the bill isn't really that hard. Give me the receipt, I'll put it into Excel, and 2 seconds later, we will know exactly who owes what.
I agree. It's not that difficult to itemize and make sure everyone pays for exactly what they ordered. Another thing that we can do is sit down and ask the server if we could get separate checks at the beginning, because what really irks servers is when you sit down, everyone orders all their food, and at the end, everyone is looking at each other like, who's about to put their card down? How are we splitting it? If it's discussed up front and the server is able to immediately put in all the food and drinks on separate checks, that just eliminates a lot of work for them at the end of the night. And I also don't understand why it's such a big deal to separate this out. Like he said, this can be done using Excel. There's apps for this now where you scan the receipt and it does all the work for you. It calculates the tax and the tip. It's just basic math. So there's really no excuse for us to say it's too difficult, let's just split it evenly, because then the people who did not order as much or who didn't drink any alcohol get the short end of the stick. Sally indeed had 7 martinis. I'm not subsidizing anybody's lifestyle choices. I agree. I had a friend order 3 appetizers, multiple drinks, regular dinner, and dessert. Then she ordered a to-go dinner for her boyfriend. She wanted to split it. Her share was about $200. I only had water and a salad that was under $14. Yeah, I would say that person is not a friend if they expect you to pay for their elaborate dinner and their boyfriend's dinner while you just got a salad and a water. Real friends don't do that. And I feel like a lot of this can be avoided if we just have a conversation with our group before we sit down to eat. We either agree that we're all going to be ordering the same amount of food and drinking the same amount of alcohol. Then if everyone agrees to split it down the middle, we can do that. And in that case, if no one is on a budget, everyone can kind of order the same amount of food and drink and it splits down the middle and it's fine. But if someone is on a budget or they're on a diet or they don't drink alcohol, then I think it's better to tell the server up front that you want separate checks. And this actually can be done in a scenario where you arrive late and you don't really know what the etiquette is and you haven't spoken to the group about who's ordering what and how the check is going to be split. I've learned my lesson, and there's been times where I sit down for a big group dinner and I tell the server privately when I'm ordering my food and drinks that I want a separate check. She immediately puts mine on a separate bill and everybody else's in the group goes on one check. That is a hack to make sure you are not stuck paying for things that you didn't order. Now, there are some people on the other side of the fence that think that it's not a huge deal to pay a few extra dollars for friends meals because it's considered the friendship tax.
Okay, here's my thoughts on group dinners. I think when you go to group dinners, you're kind of paying a friendship tax. And it doesn't end up always being 100% fair, but I think at group dinners, like some girls are sharing meals, some girls are ordering appetizers, some girls are having 3 drinks, some girls are having 1 drink. I think it all kind of evens out. And if it's not even, it's like a $10 to $20 difference. And that's just like the friendship tax. And I can already hear the comments. Well, $20 may not be a lot to you, but it's a lot to me. $20 to save my friendship, I'll pay it. There's obviously exceptions to the rules. Like if everyone at the table is like ordering shots after shots or they're like getting wasted and you're not drinking, I think it's then on the group to be like, hey, we noticed you didn't drink, so like let's make this fair for you. But yes, I think if you're all eating and you're all drinking, you need to split the bill evenly, pay the friendship tax, and it'll all even out sometime in your life eventually.
I mean, I understand her sentiment, and I think it works only with smaller groups or friendship groups that are super close. And again, if everyone is ordering and drinking the same amount, it makes sense. But often that is not the case, or we're sitting down at a group of people where some of them are acquaintances and we don't know them that well, where it makes more sense to itemize. And I also don't think that you should have to pay this friendship tax because you should never have to pay for friendship. You should never be expected to pay for somebody's drinks or food just because you want to hang out with them. There's so many free activities you can do with friends. You shouldn't have to put your card down or subsidize someone's dinner. And this comment is exactly what I was thinking. It doesn't always even out. Some friends are consistent moochers and it always gets old paying more than your share. So you have to pay $20 to save your friendship. That's a pretty concerning friendship. And there are some people who are agreeing with her. Also, over time, it evens out. A coffee here and an Uber ride there, it's not that deep. But sometimes it is that deep and we don't always know the budget of our friends and we shouldn't expect them to pay additional dollars for us that they're not comfortable spending. I'm so thankful my friends aren't like this and we just pay for our own stuff. I've never understood this. It takes 2 seconds to look at the bill to see what you specifically owe. What are you gaining from splitting evenly? A non-drinker here, just get separate checks. It's so much easier to just pay for yourself and save any possible resentment of paying too much or too little. But it doesn't even out because the cheap friends will always be cheap. They'll never call Ubers, never get you coffee, etc. Does anyone else have a story of a cheap friend that they're no longer friends with because they started getting taken advantage of? Sadly, I feel this is all too common. I have had friends in the past that I'm not friends with anymore, sadly, because they ended up being pretty cheap. They don't want to put their card down ever. They never want to buy the second round of drinks, even though you bought the first round. You treat them to a coffee sometime and they never treat you back. It's not about being tit for tat and keeping a score, but it does kind of need to feel equal. Friendships need to feel equal. And if it's not feeling equal, then someone's going to get resentful over time and feel tired of feeling taken advantage of. With gas prices going up and groceries not getting any cheaper, one thing I do before I spend money on everyday essentials is check the Upside app. Upside, which is the sponsor of today's video, is a free app that lets you earn cash back on groceries, dining, and gas. I've been using it recently and I've already earned $5.80 back on gas that I've purchased, which of course is not a lot of money right now, but it adds up over time. And I like that it's simple to use. I open the app, I claim an offer that's available nearby, I pay with my credit card as normal, and I earn cash back. Plus, there are over 100,000 locations nationwide of gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants, and you can stack Upside cash back on top of your existing credit card and loyalty rewards. Upside has also given back $1 billion to its users. If you'd like to give it a try and find out how much you could earn, download the Upside app and use promo code Marissa to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon for your first tank of gas. Or go ahead and scan the QR code right over here to claim your offer. Thanks again to Upside for sponsoring today's video.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but if I go out to dinner with friends, I don't care to like itemize the bill. I'm always fine with just splitting it evenly with everyone's card. I don't care if someone's entree was a little bit more expensive. I don't care if someone got 1 drink or someone got 2 drinks. I mean, obviously don't go crazy, but if we're all just like eating, chatting, drinking, having a good time, I don't mind splitting it. Even if you're paying a few dollars extra for what you ate, you are just like paying to hang out and be with your friends. And if I wasn't okay with just like splitting what came to the table, I wouldn't go out to dinner with friends. Trust me, I'm not just putting my card down with like 15 people I barely know. If it's my tight-knit, close group of girlfriends, I don't care if I got 1 cocktail and you got 2, we can just split it because eventually it'll just even out.
Same sentiment here. It's all gonna even out. I don't really care if you got 1 drink and I got 2. But that's you, that's your opinion. What about the friend that you're splitting with? You have to take into account what they want, what their budget is, and what they feel comfortable with ultimately. And I think that bit about if I didn't feel comfortable paying a little bit extra or somebody paying a little bit extra for me, I just wouldn't go out to dinner at all is very odd. I would never expect someone to pay extra to cover me or for me to pay extra to cover them. And I wouldn't say, oh, you can't come to dinner because you can't afford to pay a little bit more and pay the friendship tax. In my friendships, I just want to hang out and have a good time, and I don't want anyone to be stressing about not being able to afford something. We can do free activities. We don't necessarily need to go to dinner. So to be honest, it's a little rude to expect someone not to come just because they can't pay a little bit extra for somebody else's food and drinks. I personally don't mind splitting it either, but I think it's inconsiderate and or selfish to think that everyone would be okay with that. Just because I can or am willing doesn't mean I should expect. The creator responded back, doesn't bother me at all to itemize it. I'm just on board if people want to split. If someone wants to pay with their card, I will Venmo exactly what I owe them plus tip. I'm not paying for someone else's food or drinks. Notice how that person said in their comment, if someone else wants to put their credit card down, and there's a reason they said that. And I think that a lot of us have been burned before by putting our card down in a group scenario and then not getting paid back at all or not getting paid back enough, which brings us to the next clips.
Reasons why I'll never be the person that volunteers my card down and has everyone Venmo me for dinner. First of all, risky behavior when you don't know the entire group, leading to people thinking that they're just paying for their meal. People forget there are taxes or tip. They never include that when they Venmo you. So you just end up eating the loss because you're like, oh, it's just a few dollars, but a few dollars does add up. Also, some people just never end up paying you. I went to a bachelorette party and I put my card down. When you've got a large party, no one's gonna let you handpick the items that you order. Everyone just has to suffer in order amongst each other, and also it's a bachelorette party, like you have to split the bill. Well, in this instance, they did not want to do it that way, and I volunteered my card. Well, one of the girls ended up not paying me, so I was stuck with $250 never paid for. From that experience, I have been traumatized. I refuse to put my card down because I don't trust people. I like to think there are good people in the world, but there are definitely shitty people in the world who do things like this. If I do ever end up in that situation, I'm so paranoid. I take a picture of the receipt and I tell everyone exactly what they need to Venmo instead of them taking a picture of the receipt because I'll never pay for the tax and or the tip included. It's ridiculous.
And the comments say, I'm blessed to have friends that never do this. And the creator responded back, the people who aren't paying me back aren't my friends. It's the new people I don't know. Never again. This just proves my point that it's always the random acquaintances that you just met that don't know you, that don't pay you back or stiff you on the amount. Someone else said, tell that girl she has to pay you, shaking my head. The creator responded back, I re-requested 4 times, had 2 other people text, it's been silent since. And it just sucks because the people that don't end up paying back the person that put their card down are just taking advantage of the situation and end up ruining it for the rest of us. Evidence right here in this comment. I don't do group dinners anymore. People have 5 rounds of drinks and I don't even drink, so I end up paying for their steaks and drinks. Someone else said, I only bring cash on bachelorettes and group dinners from now on. And they do this so that they don't have to put their credit card down, and so they can just pay whoever put their card down with cash. And I don't blame them. If this happens to you once or twice, you are not going to want to put your card down in those situations anymore.
No, because if we're in a group setting at dinner, I am not the credit card friend. Like, I was just watching Bria Jones and her debacle with that girl that owes her like $200 because she covered the tab for her friends. That happened to me in college, and I will never, ever, ever cover the tab for a group of more than 3 of my closest friends, like people I know. Because listen, anytime it's just been me and one other friend, 2 other friends, maybe like a few girlfriends, and we're just gonna split it evenly, it works out great. But as soon as you get to that mixed group of people at the dinner table, all of a sudden no one carries a card with them. No one has a. So what happened in college was we all went to dinner. We were like, oh, let's do this like cute little friends dinner. There's this Mexican spot near the school. We're just gonna get together, blah, blah, blah. So we ordered drinks, we ordered food. It was like literally 6 of us. And mind you, I don't talk to a single person from that group to this day. And that's what irks my soul. So dinner ends. And the waiter is like, we can only do a 2-way split. So everyone's just like, oh, like, how are we gonna split this? Who are we gonna Venmo, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what? I have a credit card. We can go ahead and just put it on mine. You guys send me the money after. Boom. So I pay for the bill. And literally that night, strike one was no one even paid me that night. No one paid me that night. I should have literally been like, no one leaves this restaurant until I get my money. But anyways, I digress. No one paid me that night. The next day, one of the guys in the group pays me and one of the girls in the group pays me, but they literally only sent me the exact meal amount, like exact menu amount for their meal. So if they got enchiladas for $29.99, they sent me $29.99. No tax, no tip. Do you know how much tax and tip is on a $600 tab? So I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna send me the menu amount. That's also something that irks my soul, is when people don't send you tax and tip. So now I literally will calculate it before I pay for it and be like, okay, this is what I'm sending you. But anyways, so eventually everyone except for one person who to this day has not paid me back, but whatever, everyone sent me their exact menu amount for their item. And I am stuck with $200 plus of the tax and the tip, and I never got that back. And I will never, ever, ever put my credit card down in a group setting ever again. The next time that happened, I was in LA and it was a group setting again, and it was a group of people who I literally did not know at the time. And when the check came, this girl literally had an empty purse and she was like, I don't have a wallet. And I was like, who comes to dinner with no wallet? This is not a date. So everyone's looking around, they're like, oh, who's gonna put their card down? And I had a card in my wallet, and I was like, I would rather run barefoot down Sunset Boulevard than put my card on this table right now. Literally, count me out. I'm not the credit card friend, sorry.
And like she said in the video, it was strike one and a red flag that her friends did not pay her back that same evening. I will stand by this. The time it takes for a friend to pay you back is also an indicator of how good of a friend they are. Because if you have to be reminding that person, sending them Venmo requests, texting them, calling them, just chasing them down to pay you back, they are not that good of a friend. And they are probably hoping that you will eventually forget so that they don't have to pay you at all. That's why when I'm in these situations and somebody has put their card down, I'm really grateful that they do that, and I make sure I calculate my food, my tax, my tip, and I Venmo or Cash App them right away. And this top comment right here says it all. I don't understand how people aren't embarrassed to not pay for themselves fully. The creator responded back, I had someone skip on the check at a birthday dinner and still take a plate to go. My goodness, the audacity. Also, the girl going out to dinner without her wallet, what are you doing, girl? This is 2026. This is not a date. You need to pay for yourself at a group dinner. People who also say they'll pay you back on payday, like I didn't agree to a loan. Seriously, what is that? No, pay me right now. My thing is, why are we not sending the money when the waitress goes to charge said card? Seriously, amen to that. Why can't people just pay their fair share that same evening at the restaurant while the waitress is swiping the card? It is not that difficult, but of course, that's never gonna happen because wishful thinking.
Oh, no, absolutely not. 99% of the time, the only acceptable way to split a dinner bill in New York City is to itemize it. And the reason for this is every single person, when you go to dinner with your friends, deserves to enjoy the dinner in the way that they want. And in New York, everyone's financial standing is different. I have friends, I'm just gonna say it, I have friends who literally make $60,000 plus more than some of my other friends. And when they go to dinner, they wanna get whatever they want. And I would never wanna stop that. Like, you go off, it's your dinner too. If we got this hot reservation, order everything on the menu. You do you. But I personally, I'm not gonna be doing that right now. And I have friends who also are more conscious of their finances and just don't feel the need to drop $300 on a dinner. So when you sit there and you're in that position thinking about what everyone else is ordering and you're stressing about the money money, and if the average is gonna go up, it ruins the experience. And same for someone who wants to ball out. If they know that we're splitting it, they feel awkward about ordering it. No. It is just better. Everyone pays for what they get. Obviously, if it's like a birthday dinner, everyone gets the same things. We'll like split it down the middle, it's fine. But for instances where you're going to dinner with a group, the only acceptable way in New York City to split the bill is by itemizing it. And I will stand by that. So get a friend in finance, use a template, do it on Excel. Like I assume everyone can do basic math, or use one of those amazing apps to do it. But splitting the bill down the middle is just like very insensitive to your friends who might be in a different place financially.
Fully agree. I don't know why people think it's cheap to not split evenly. I personally think it's cheap to expect people to pick up part of your bill. And that's the excuse that a lot of people say when they want to split evenly. They ask their friend, why are you being cheap? Just split it evenly. It's easier. But the same could be said the other way around. You're being cheap if you're expecting other people to pay for your food and drinks. The only time you should split evenly is if it's tapas and shared food. I hate splitting the bill because I'm always ordering the cheapest item. Same girl, same. I'm vegan, so there's typically only 1 or 2 things on the menu I can get, one of them being a salad, and number 2, I often don't drink at restaurants because I don't feel like it's worth it, and that just ties in with what we've talked about on the channel before, restaurants not being worth the price anymore. Thank you, splitting the bill is so selfish, someone always gets effed over. And as mentioned in some of these clips and comments, there are apps that will do all the math for you if you don't want to whip out a calculator or an Excel sheet. One of them is called Splitwise, the other one is called Split Mobile.
We just finished dinner here at Quarters Korean Barbecue in Cape Town, and I just fronted the bill with my Amex for all my friends, and I'm about to show you guys the easiest way for me to get paid back. Now, mind you, everyone here is only gonna pay for what they got, because some people ordered drinks and other people didn't. So I'm gonna open up the Split app, and I'm gonna take a picture of this receipt. Once I take a picture of the receipt, the app is then gonna process and itemize everything that's on this receipt. Now I can choose how I wanna split this bill with my friends. Since everybody's gonna pick their own items, I click the pick items option. Once I'm ready to split it with the group, all I do is press split. I just sent everybody the link in the group chat, and now everyone instantly has the link ready to pay me back. The best part about it is not everyone here has the app downloaded. All right, so Lawrence just got the link. And now he's gonna be given access to see the items that are on that receipt. So he's just gonna select the items that he got from the receipt. And once he pays me back, it goes right into my Split account. So the boy Anthony doesn't have the app downloaded, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like with the guests that don't have the app. So he's gonna be able to view the bill, and he sees the items that were on the receipt. He's gonna contribute the amount that he got, and he's just gonna select the drink he got, and then he's gonna pay via Apple Pay. See, Auto Gratitude is included on the bottom as well, and then he's just gonna send it off. And when he pays me back, it goes into my account right away. And then what I could do from my account, once it's in my Split account, I could transfer the funds over to my Visa card ending in 4196. Review the transfer, and I can go ahead and send it over. Easy as that. So everybody at the table is able to just click through the receipt and select the items that they got and then pay me back instantly.
So this is a great concept because it does help if you want to be extra lazy and you don't want to do the calculations yourself. But the top comment does say you can only do this with people who will actually pay you back. So it does not help in those situations where you put your card down and front the bill and people can still decide to just not pay you back. So it's not helpful for that. But if you are at a dinner with a group of trusted friends that you know will pay you back, this is a great solution. This app will single-handedly save a lot of group friendships. And I like that it works in situations where the person doesn't have the app downloaded because they can't use that as an excuse to not pay you back.
Here's how you know if your friends are cool or not. If you guys go out to dinner and everybody agrees to split the bill evenly no matter what, awesome, they're valid. If not, if you have these guys that are trying to itemize the bill and send out Venmo requests for specific amounts based on what everybody ordered, get them out of your circle. They're dweebs.
And pretty much no one agreed with this guy in the comments. No, I'm not paying for your lobster ravioli if I get a cheeseburger. Just an objectively incorrect take. Have fun paying for my seafood tower every night. Sounds like the sort of thing that the one guy who ordered the steak and lobster when everybody else ordered burgers would say. Hell no, I'm paying for what I ate. I'm not going to be bullied into paying for your food. I don't want to be in your circle. People who say this always run up the bill and leave food on the table. We don't all have money, Spencer. Unless all of our meals are similar in cost, we are not splitting it even. Splitting evenly is if you don't respect your friend's financial situation. People that try to split the bill evenly are shady. Don't trust them, get them out of your circle. So clearly not the response that he was hoping to get. That was quite a hot take, and I really think he would have a different take if he was the one having to pay for other people's food and drinks and he just got a salad and a water.
Here's what to do when someone insists on splitting the bill evenly. Since the bill came to $63, we can just split it down the middle and pay $31.50 each. Well, I only ordered $17 worth of food. I'll just pay for what I got. Seriously, will you stop being cheap? It's just so much easier to split things down the middle. I know you got the money. This has nothing to do with being cheap. You know what? Whatever. I don't have time to debate this today. I want to get to the mall before it closes because I'm looking to buy 4 sweaters. I'll go with you. I need to replace a belt. Oh, well, that's actually perfect for me. What do you mean? It'll help me save a little money. We can ring up all of our items together and then split the cost down the middle. Excuse me? You're buying 4 sweaters. I'm buying 1 belt. Why would I pay for your clothes? That doesn't even make any sense. Really? Really? What would even give you that idea? Well, I only had a salad and an appetizer, and since we're splitting dinner down the middle, I just assumed that it applied to all purchases. Haha, cute. Fine, if it means that much to you, we can just pay for what we ordered. Your choice.
Now it's my turn to share my story for when I paid $70 and just ordered a salad and a water. This was a long time ago. I was young and dumb, and I went out to dinner with a friend for their birthday, and they did a joint dinner with their other friend. So this was 2 friend groups mixing. I was the DD for 2 of my friends, one of them being the birthday girl, and so I did not drink, and I also was trying to eat pretty healthy at that time, so I ordered a salad. When the check came, one of the friends that I didn't know stood up and asked everyone if we could just split the bill evenly, and everyone agreed and no one made a peep. And I felt awkward making a big deal at the birthday dinner, so I just held my tongue and I paid the $70, but it was really painful. And also, none of my close friends, some of them who are my best friends, really stood up for me and said, hey, she only got a salad and a water, let's just have her pay separately and the rest of us can split evenly. And that has not happened to me anymore, because as soon as I sit down at a group dinner, if we have not discussed how we are splitting the check, I tell the server as I'm ordering that I want my food on a separate check. That way, when the bill comes, mine is separated and everybody else can figure it out themselves. The other option is, if you have the funds and you're not on a tight budget and you're fine to just enjoy and order whatever, I would try to order the same amount of food and drinks as other people. That way, in case someone says they want to split things down the middle, you don't get stiffed. But needless to say, that was the first and the last time that will ever be happening to me, and I have learned my lesson. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below a dog emoji so I know you watched the whole thing. And please also comment down below what your thoughts on the matter are. Do you split evenly? Do you itemize? How do you handle the awkward drama of group dinners and splitting the check? And if you don't want to wait for my next upload, you can go ahead and check out this video right here on the screen. But thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.